Welcome to the Nobody Guide to Life, to our very first episode. I'm your host, J.A. Plosker. So if you found us here, you may just be starting out on the personal growth or personal development journey, or you may just be starting off on your spiritual trek, or maybe you're well along in those areas and you're just looking to get some more information or looking to get some extra energy or support, and that's totally fine. Maybe you just want to pick up some tips and tools that you can use right now in your everyday life to help you on your way. Or maybe you just need to kill some time in the car. Totally fine. Whatever. The point is, you found a place to come for tips and tools you can use on your journey of personal growth, personal development, or your spiritual trek. So first things first, thank you for tuning into something with nobody in the title. I know that sounds a little strange, but I just want to tell you, years ago, I was feeling kind of down on myself. I had some things that I wanted to do, things that I wanted to accomplish. And I just kept thinking to myself and saying to my friends, I'm just a nobody. Who's going to want to listen to that? Who's going to want to hear what I have to say? And I was feeling pretty bad, and I kind of let that get in the way of the things that I wanted to do. And I heard a spiritual teaching a few months later, and the person said that in the spiritual path, nobody is really the goal. Nobody means that you're striving to get past your ego and looking to be more available to life as it comes. So instead of always having a fight with life, you're more ready to accept it. And that really resonated with me. And so it changed the way that I thought about being nobody. It's a term that I tried to empower, and that resulted in a book called The Nobody Bible, uncovering the simple wisdom in ordinary life. And that book actually shows how teachings, philosophies from the world's ancient religious traditions are actually available to us right now in our everyday lives, that we actually use that wisdom even though we may not know it. And even though we may feel like we're nobody in particular, even if we may feel like, who am I to be on a path of personal development or spiritual growth? Doesn't matter. Everybody, just by virtue of having a life, is actually accessing and using these tools. And so what I wanted to do was grow that message and start a dialogue around it. So that led to the book, which you can find out more about at thenobodybible.com. It also led to a website called nobodiesview.com. And it led to a spiritual community, a personal development community on Facebook. You can find us at Nobody's View, and there's a link to one of our groups there. So this podcast, The Nobody Guide to Life, is really just an extension of that. We want to bring you tips and tools that you can use on your spiritual personal development trek right now, right in your everyday life. No jacket, no fame, no fortune, no ordination required. Now, this show will occasionally have guest hosts, co-hosts. We're going to be interviewing people who are living lives of personal growth, personal development, living an authentic spiritual journey. We're going to be talking to people who have jobs in those areas. We're going to be trying to get to the heart of what we can do right now in our everyday lives to help us grow just a little bit. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the platform that I'm using for this podcast. It's not really a traditional podcast. We are going to try to have regular episodes every week, but also we're going to try to record thoughts, feelings, things that come up in everyday life and post those too, sort of like features or mini episodes. Because I figure, you know what? If the message is the tools we need for personal growth and spiritual development are right in our everyday life, I might as well find a way to record some of the things that are going on in everyday life and put them up for you to listen to, but not just listen, to interact with. I want you to contact me, ask questions, contact the show. Let us know if you have questions about anything we've talked about, or if you have something to put into the show, something, a tip or tool that you feel could be helpful to someone else, because that's really where the rubber hits the road with all of this. And I think it's really important. So next things, who am I to be making this podcast? Well, I just want you to know I'm a father, I'm a husband, I have a mortgage, and I have bills to pay, and I have a lawn to mow. So really, when you look at it, I'm just somebody living a life, trying to figure out what it means to have personal growth, what it means to have personal development in my life, what it means to find spiritual wisdom and apply it. So I'm you. I'm you making a podcast in a home office where you may occasionally hear dogs barking or a leaf blower going, but I'm living my life looking for wisdom, trying to figure out how to make my life better. And I've actually found that to be a very, very, very exciting way to be. So let's try something right now. Let's talk about a small tool that you can use today, right in your everyday life, that you can apply that can help you on your journey. So I'm just going to assume that somewhere out there, there's somebody on a treadmill. So maybe you're listening to this podcast after work, maybe you're at the gym and you're running on that treadmill and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, all of this stuff about personal development and personal growth and spirituality, it sounds great, but this 20 minutes on the treadmill is a luxury. And listen, I get it. You know, after a hard day of work, what I really want to do is just lay down on the couch. But you know what? There's laundry to do. There's dishes to do. There's a kiddo to take care of. But I want to use this moment as an example. So if you're on the treadmill, I'm going to be quiet for a second and I want you to listen to the rhythmic pounding of your feet on the treadmill. So go. All right. Do you hear that sound? That thump, 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 thump of your feet? So while you're running, after this podcast is over, focus all of your attention on that rhythmic pounding of your feet. If you have a thought, maybe dinner later or that shower you're going to have to take in the gross gym shower when you're done, if you have that kind of thought, bring your attention back to what you're doing. So anytime your thoughts stray to anything other than being on that treadmill, focus your attention back to the thumping of your feet. That's it. That's the entire tool. Now, for those of us who may not be on a treadmill right now, there are other ways to do that. When I was working in an office setting and I was having a difficult day, I realized one of the things I needed to do was move. So I would get up from my desk if things were getting a little hairy, and I would go to the stairs and I would try to walk the stairs down to the lobby, but try to only focus on the step that was in front of me to see how far I could get before a thought interrupted me. Now, did I get very far? No, of course not. But the point is, I'm not telling you not to have thoughts. I'm telling you to try to focus on the task that's right in front of you right now. And anytime your attention strays, bring it back to what you're doing. So as I walk down those steps, maybe I'd make it 2 steps, focusing on the step in front of me. And then I have a thought about a project or an interaction that I had with somebody that didn't go so well. I would bring my attention back to the steps over and over and over and over. Now, I practiced that for years. I still practice it. Am I successful all the time? No, but that's part of the growth. The thoughts that pull me away from what I'm doing in the moment are the places where I know I have a little bit of work to do. So hopefully that tip helps you. I spent many years as a social worker and counselor helping people battling addiction and mental health. And this is an exercise, this type of mindfulness exercise, this meditation exercise is something that I would have them do to bring their thoughts back from anxiety, maybe, or back from a craving, back to the moment, back to what they're doing. I want you to practice this tip, and I want you to let me know. Reach out to me on Twitter and Facebook at Nobody's View. Reach out to me through the nobodybible.com, through nobodysview.com. Practice this mindfulness technique. Think about what being nobody means. Think about being open and available. Think about what these ideas have to say in your life right now. And on the next episode, we will go more in depth, and keep an eye out because we'll be having features in between our regular episodes. So with that, I wish you a good week, and I hope that you have a very, very successful practice. Take care.